Right now, on the 4-hour chart, Bitcoin appears to be breaking above our downward sloping resistance. And this is coming in right along what appears to be a continuation pattern. Bitcoin is showing similar characteristics to the first consolidation zone where we had an impulse up, sideways consolidation, not giving up any of the gains, impulse up, and now another sideways consolidation, not giving up any of these gains. These are still higher lows on the 4-hour chart, and now we're pushing resistance. This could very well lead to another push to the upside, continuing this stair-step pattern into another explosive run. All of this and more in today's video. Before we dive into all the short-term stuff and the next major leg up that is potentially starting right now, I want to first address the very long-term macro picture for Bitcoin. This is the weekly chart, and overlaid onto it is the halving cycle profit model, which is a model that I developed showing that every time the Bitcoin halving takes place, about 80 weeks later is the end of the quote-unquote profit zone, meaning that 80 weeks after the halving, you got to be pretty much out of the market, or at least taking the profits that you want to take before a bear market. And with the recent dip for Bitcoin, a lot of people have been saying stuff like, we're running out of time in the cycle, it's getting too late. But you know what's interesting? Bitcoin is actually perfectly on track and even ahead of schedule for this current rebound. In the last cycle in 2021, we ran up into the 40th week post-halving, which is the beginning of these green bars. It's 40 weeks post-halving, and then the end of it is 80 weeks. In 2021, it was 40 weeks in that we created the top, and we pulled back halfway through the halving cycle profit zone is when we created that low point. And in this current cycle over here, we're creating that first low, the first correction low earlier. Actually, it's only 2 bars in versus in 2021, we had 3 or 4 bars of the halving cycle profit before we found that bounce. And so Bitcoin is actually rebounding at a really good point. It gives us all the way until October of this year, in theory, to play out whatever kind of price action that we want in this cycle. So the idea that Bitcoin is behind or that we don't have enough time is actually very false. It seems like we got the first correction out of the way a little bit earlier than usual, which could be good for the rest of the cycle. And if we get some policy changes from the Fed, this might actually end up playing out a lot better than people think. Now, moving on. Recently, there's been a ton of volatility to trade. And if you're somebody that is actively trading this market right now and taking advantage of the volatility, that means that you're probably spending a lot of money on fees in your trading. And luckily, there is a solution for you to earn some of that money back. You can earn 10% cash back on all of your fees. BloFin, the sponsor of this channel, an exclusive offer using my link below. You get 10% of your trading fees back in your account every single day that you're trading. I think this is a no-brainer. If you're trading in the market, you need to be getting money back on your fees. And on top of that, another exclusive offer where you can earn real USDT rewards. If you get above the first challenge, the volume challenge, you get USDT that is deposited in your account that is withdrawable. So if you use that link below and you sign up for BloFin, you're going to be earning money back automatically through your trading. It is really easy to sign up. Click the link below. Now, going back to Bitcoin, on this channel, we've talked about the parabolic trend over and over and over again. And I think you guys get the point. It was a close call about a month ago, but we held it. We're back in it. Bitcoin is still on an exponential trend, giving us a reason to have a bullish bias. Like I was posting on Twitter, this continuation pattern, currently we're setting up for a possible another run. If you take a look at the flagpole up to the first high before our consolidation, and you place that on the breakout zone, this was a pretty good estimate on where we were headed on the breakout of this consolidation. It led us right to this point. It was a great target hit. And if we were to apply the same logic once again, you take the steepest part of your flagpole, which is this zone right here, extrapolate that, put it on the breakout zone. That takes us up to about 104,000 for Bitcoin on the next major impulse to the upside. Before you guys tell me that I'm being too bullish, we will talk about downside targets, the potential of a pullback, and where I'd be looking to target on a pullback, and we'll get back to that. And if you take your Fibonacci tool from high to low, this scenario has some confluence with the 786 Fibonacci, which is a common target. And this move that we're seeing for Bitcoin right now is very reminiscent of the post-ETF uptrend when Bitcoin had the ETF launch and it broke out of this zone, and it would pump up and sort of not give up any of the gains, pump up, not give up any of the gains, and just see a lot of continuation, not giving anybody a chance to buy any dips. Right? And so far, that is what we've seen. As of right now, the trend is our friend in the very long term and in the very short term. Now, there's an argument for the medium term because we've had this major downtrend going into April. So there's definitely some arguments to be made about, the idea that this could be a lower high, or maybe we need to retest lower. A couple points on that. If you look at the weekly chart for Bitcoin, you can see what we have here is the Lux Algo fair value gap indicator, which automatically maps out all the fair value gaps. And usually the market likes to retest fair value gaps. An FVG, fair value gap, can be simply explained as an area where price moved really quickly that the market considers an unfair move, that there wasn't enough time to trade at that price. So usually the market will retest down or up depending on if it's a bullish or a bearish fair value gap, as you can see here in the shorter term. But if you go to the weekly chart, we have a fair value gap right below us and we have not tested it yet. It doesn't mean that we have to test it right now. We could go higher following something like this and then retest it actually later when people don't expect us to retest that zone. That's when we retest it before the actual push to the all-time high. That is a possibility. That would be a big washout. And we know that Bitcoin loves to wash the market over and over and over again. And the one that we had most recently on the weekly was also retested eventually. And so you're looking at this one now, a lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of people have been discussing this fair value gap, that we need to go back and test it. But at the same time, if everyone is expecting it, maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe it happens later when it's not expected. And likely, that's an average of about 89,700 or so, 89,800 for the middle of this fair value gap. We've been talking about a lot of bullish stuff. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that there is some downside risk that you should keep in mind as you're trading this market. And in the short term, we are on the cusp of this, or sort of the end of this consolidation. We're in the pattern completion zone, just like we were here. And we're likely going to see fireworks very soon, whether that's a big move up or a retest of the fair value gap. Either way, I do expect a major move soon. In the long term, the trend is our friend in the long term, clearly. All you had to do was just buy every dip since the beginning of 2023, and you are in the profit zone. And so my bias remains bullish for the daily and 4-hour chart, a potential of a short-term dip to test a fair value gap. But other than that, I am remaining bullish on the market. Right? I'm remaining bullish as long as, until the market proves otherwise. I should be bullish on the market. The S&P 500 has also been playing out a nice rebound. Speculators in the crypto market clearly like a bullish stock market. We can talk about a decoupling all we want, but still the S&P and Bitcoin have a very tight correlation on the weekly time frame, especially, topping out January, February, coming down in April, rebounding. Bitcoin topping out in January, February, coming down into April, rebounding. It's all very correlated, all very tied together. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like, subscribe. And remember, if you're an active trader in this market, you can be earning money back on all the fees that you're paying for right now. You could get 10% back each and every day that you're trading. You get that cash back right in your account every single day. And right now, limited time offer till May 11th, you have these real USDT rewards. If you meet the requirements of this challenge, you get this money deposited right into your account and you can withdraw that USDT. It's not just a bonus, right? After that first step, these are real USDT rewards. So sign up today, guys. Take advantage of this while it's still here, and I'll see you all in the next video.